Next up, Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon was fun. Mike, I'll start with you. What do you think? And let me make sure I got this right. Last week he got arrested, I think, for
DUI.
A DUI. So that wasn't great timing for him for a lot of reasons, but since we're talking about him
I was watching his tape while it happened.
I think I was too.
I searched his name and then said 5 minutes ago DUI. I'm like, oh, nice.
He was trending on Twitter. I was like, oh Jesus, what did this guy do? And then we found out what he did. So he had 39 receptions last year. Lost 2 fumbles on the only 2 fumbles he had. But I love the way he plays. I thought he's incredibly patient behind the line of scrimmage, and he had a little juice once he hits it and turns the corner or shoots between the tackles. What do you think, Mike?
The guy's got a unique skill set, and it was difficult to come up with a comp for him. I didn't love the comp I had, and I don't think there is a comp that's going to feel great for him because he's massive.
Wait till you see my comp. You'll feel better about that.
Yeah,
he's just got this massive frame that could almost pass for, if you put on 15 pounds, you could play him at tight end, and it wouldn't look crazy because he's just at 6'2". He's really long. And that shows in his stiff arms. When he's out in the open field, it's really a weapon with how he can use that offhand to bounce corners off him, to bounce safeties off him. I thought for a guy that tall, his feet were exceptional. His ability to deal with trash behind the line of scrimmage and still create positive plays was very good. Running behind Oklahoma State offensive line, who when we get to the offensive line pod, we're not going to mention any of these guys. It was impressive that he went for over 1,700 yards. So, I just think he's the complete package. Now, he did have some drops, but I do think he also had good hands and soft hands and could be a weapon in the screen game, especially with that big catch radius that he has. So I just think there's a lot to like in his game.
So, Rick, this was Ollie's Mike's number 1. He was me and you, number 3. I also noted, I liked a lot of the things that Mike talked about, but I also noted because of the size, I like to see him run the little lower pad level. What do you think about him?
Yeah, loved it. I think he's an in-between the tackles runner.
Okay.
Watched the West Virginia game. He had a lot of explosive runs that game. Some of the other tapes that I watched, they weren't as explosive, but he had a lot of long runs in that game. So I probably didn't expect. I think he's going to run faster than people think for his size, especially when he gets his stride going. I thought he had good hands. I did see some of the drops. He does not run a wide variety of routes out of the backfield. Thing that disappointed me the most, and I think it's important, it may not be important, is that he was one of the worst out of all the running backs I've seen in pass protection. For a guy this size, he ducks his head. He tries to cut block all the time. He needs to improve, and that's all correctable with coaching. And I think he'd be more than willing to do it, but this guy was the worst out of all the running backs I've seen in pass protection. To me, he was an old school workhorse type back. I think he's got to get his touches, and the more touches he gets, the more productive he goes, because I think he wears down defenses. But for a big back, I really liked his vision and ability to make a side cut too, because usually those big backs go straight line and try to run through everybody. This kid actually has some body control and contact balance.
So when you're talking to someone like Ollie Gordon at the Combine or the Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl, we were talking to him, and your first question is about their lack of pass blocking ability. What are you looking to hear?
Well, I'm going to throw it up on tape.
Right.
I'm going to hopefully see it at the Senior Bowl, because they have those one-on-one drills with the linebackers, see if he's willing to put his face in there or not.
Yeah, but what do you want to hear from him when he tries to explain why he's doing that?
Well, is he going? Well, I can, if he's hopefully taking responsibility, that I can improve my technique. Now, if he says, well, coaches didn't teach me that, or we didn't put emphasis on it, then it's like, well, you still can face a guy up. You don't have to cut block him all the time, or
right.
That's what the coaches told me to do, so I was doing what I was taught.
Okay. All right, Rick, we'll stay with you. I'll say, you know what? We're going to get your comp, and then I'm going to name me and Mike's. We'll play this game the rest of the way. You can match the comp to the handsome co-host, okay?
Okay.
All right, you go first to your comp and draft range for Ollie Gordon.
I went with Brian Robinson Jr.
Okay.
When he came out, because I thought he was a big back with good vision and contact balance coming out.
Day 2, obviously, how high?
I had him second, maybe more likely third right now.
Okay.
So I got to be careful, because because I know how physical he is, and I may have really been harsh on the pass protection part of it, which I talked about.
Okay. All right. So I'll give you a hint. My draft range for Ollie Gordon is late second. What's your draft range, Mike?
Yeah, I had like a mid-second.
All right. So here you go. Match the handsome co-host to the comp. You ready, Rick?
Yep.
Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson.
Okay. Mike did David Johnson. You went with Le'Veon Bell because
I did it again. I totally forgot that I had this.
If they play for Pittsburgh, so far I'm 2-0 right now.
I'm an idiot. That's the bigger story. I keep forgetting that these guys play for the Steelers, and then I thought I was onto something.
You're not.
I thought the way he was patient behind the line of scrimmage reminded me a little bit of Le'Veon once he got to the league. Le'Veon was much heavier coming out of Michigan State, and then he lost 20 pounds or whatever. And then he, went on that jet skiing tour, and everything went south from there. Games to circle for Oklahoma State, Utah, September 21st, and they play at Baylor about 5 weeks after that. We talked about second roundish for Ollie